Very good morning from Europe, August 28th of 2020, Friday. Well, I would say it's on my side like, well, a few minutes past midnight. So, well, you can argue it's very early good morning. Guys, anyway, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Piotr, and here is Light Forex Global YouTube channel. We are going to make the update when it comes to the latest Powell show. Well, before we start, risk warning as usual, guys. Please bear in mind trading in margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors who can sustain a loss of some or initial investment. So please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, then gain experience before risking real money. However, don't forget about it, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Alright guys, so what is all about? Who earned the money tonight, today, during the Powell speech or right after the Powell speech? Let's try to, I might disappoint a few of you guys, right? Because we are not going to go straight, buy here, sell there, and whatsoever. We are going to try to make the things a little bit easier to understand. And to be honest with you, we've seen the dollar sell off when the Powell introduced average inflation target, right? But then, without the further explanation, and well, overall, if you remember my previous update, overall Powell wasn't that dovish as many would expect. So what next for the US dollar as the summer holiday is coming to the end? T+2 settlement is done. We are approaching end of the month. So anyone would like to find the solution and some kind of the holy grail, well, okay, now all in long or all in short? Well, that's the answer is not going to make you happy. It's not that easy, right? As I mentioned before, guys, of course, Jackson's Hole might be the most important or one of the two most important events when it comes to the second part of the year, right? The second one is the US election, but we might get some answers with the delay. Why? Well, because of the end of the month flow, right? We might see some kind of the answers coming in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Anyway, that's gonna be some kind of the update, and well, let's start with euro dollar. Okay, so what we've seen and what I would say each of us should make the note of is the post-Powell high, right? That's the number one. Why? Because it's related to the stops we taken out. Okay, now to the downside, the stop count was, I would say, a little bit lighter, right? The stops to the downside, in my opinion, been lighter than what we've seen to the upside. Well, one of the thing is the short dollar is the most crowded trade, right? So it was quite easy to run through the high, through this supply zone, right? To try to find the liquidity, right? And profit from the opposite side of the trade. Now, I truly believe that we should make the note of this 19 1905, right? 1905 high as a post-Powell high. That's the one thing. And the second thing is taking into the consideration this bear flag to the downside. We should also take into the consideration levels close to 1950, right? This supply over there. So we have two zones, or if you prefer, we have one big supply zone, right? When it comes to dollar intraday approach. I would say not only intraday approach. I would say not only intraday approach, right? Why? Guys, if we are going to switch to the dollar yen, the same story here. Big stop count when it comes to the latest move to the downside. We discuss it, that as long as we are below 106.50, we might see lower levels. We saw them with the lower shadow and we took out the highs over here. Okay, for now we test again 50% of this consolidation mid-range, right? And then we have another mid-range when it comes to the test somewhere closer to 107. But anyway, taking into the consideration what we have overall when it comes to the dollar, right? It looks like with this stop hunt to the downside, right? Something bigger might came into the upside, right? So what I'm going to look for, when it comes to the dollar yen this time, I'm going to look for the pullbacks or pullback we've seen before, right? In that case, what I'm looking for is again this yellow zone, this buying zone. I'm looking for deeper pullback toward 106, 105.80 and continuation to the higher levels. From the intraday perspective, I'm looking for 107. I'm looking for 107 when it comes to the dollar yen, all right? So overall, dollar doesn't look that bad for now. Doesn't look that bad for now. Cable, it's another example. 1, 2, 3 dive rally with the stop count. Perfect, almost perfect upper shadow. Now we're trying to hold the levels close to 32.20, 32.50. Again, we discussed it well before the Powell these levels, right? But we might see eventually a little bit of the rally. One of the strategy is saying watch for 50% of the shadow. In that case, we test of 32.50. Well, that's something we should be aware of. Then to the downside, 31.50, 31. That's what market is aware of when it comes to the buyers, right? I told you guys, don't try to chase the market selling the dollar post Powell, right? Let's the dust to settle. Overall, I wouldn't say that we have bearish view when it comes to the dollar with these upper shadows, right? Of course, we have US elections, something completely different if we want to exclude the charts. Something probably I'm going to record over the weekend, right? Trying to lay down on the beach and trying to discuss the market being cool. Of course, it's not that easy, but I'm going to try to make it that way post my latest sickness, right? So stay with me, guys. It was never ever good idea to try to trade full exposure towards the end of the month, right? Especially trying to recover earlier losses. So guys, end of the month flow will dominate anyway. Lower your exposure, try to define the levels. When it comes to the weak dollar, we have these upper shadows defying the levels on a different dollar crosses. With that being said, I wish you great Tokyo session. Fingers crossed you are not gonna be trapped, and see you around on Friday. Take care, good night, goodbye, see you around.